Hey, Nikki.
Hey, Selena.
And hey, everyone. And welcome to Sweet Tea and TV.
Hi.
Hey.
And Merry Christmas.
I mean, it won't be.
Not when this airs.
It won't be, which has really messed me up as I've been trying to prepare for this one. But
I'm sorry.
But right now,
it's Christmas every day.
We're 21 days from Christmas.
Thought we decided we weren't going to talk about that anymore.
The countdown is anxiety-inducing, but
it's too much.
Yeah, but I want to give people an idea of
where we are
in time,
temporally. Yeah.
Why we're so stoked about Christmas versus talking about it in like June.
Right. Yeah, this is an exciting time. We are right in the heat of it all. The stores have all the good Christmas candy out. Selena's house has all the good Christmas treats out. We're ready to go.
Yeah, we had a miniature Christmas party before we headed up.
You say miniature. Not so miniature. Massive. It was a blowout.
Yeah.
There were cinnamon rolls involved.
There were cinnamon rolls. I had a martini ready for Nikki at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Woohoo!
Because it's Christmas. It's
delicious.
Part of the gig.
It is.
And we'll share, Nikki was very sweet and got me a Christmas gift. We're super official now. It says Sweet Tea and TV on it. It's a recording on sign so that Casey knows when he has to crawl in through the back window versus coming through the garage.
Poor Casey.
And you brought your pineapple casserole.
I did. You finally know what it tastes like. Is it Christmas worthy?
It's everyday worthy. I mean, my hindquarters would be significantly bigger if it were an everyday activity, but it was delicious, and I'm going to have a little bit more. So it's sweet,
I'm
it's
glad
salty,
you like it.
And then there's like that acidity in the pineapple that just really makes it just sets it off.
Imagine that sitting right next to your ham on your Christmas dinner plate.
Perfect. There's something about, pineapple and pork. We talked about that when you told us about the pineapple casserole for our Thanksgiving extra sugar.
Yeah.
So it was everything that I wanted. Cheese, Ritz, pineapple,
butter.
Just one, yes, and butter, because
sugar.
That's what they need. Butter. So yeah, let's not talk about anything else that's in it. I start to have guilt.
Don't have guilt. This is guilt-free. It's the holiday season.
That's right.
You can start over in 30, 29, 28, 27, 26-ish days.
Yeah.
I'm not good with math.
So yeah, I'll be
You've got a couple weeks.
From pineapple treats to green smoothies or something.
Well, there you go.
We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. Well, you know what this means. Now that I've got y'all hyped up.
She buttered me up so she could ask me tough questions.
Yeah. But I don't think these are that tough.
Okay.
But it's time to get into the Proust survey.
Pull my sleeves up.
Yep. Get
Wipe
to know
my hands
yourself.
off on my pants.
Right.
All right.
Yep. Who are you? What is your most marked characteristic?
Most marked characteristic. Selena, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your most marked characteristic?
Well, I guess, so my thing is like thinking physical or personality trait. Because I think it could be either one, which I'm happy to answer both.
I assumed it was personality trait, but maybe that's part of the question. What did you assume it was?
Well, the first thing that struck me, because I was just sort of like, what if the thing that came to my head is like when I can tell people may not know, or like they're trying to point out who I am to other people or something, they're like, they go, the one with the curly hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one with the curly red hair. So like that's sort of a standout characteristic.
Sure.
Yeah. So
that's
popped
interesting.
into my head initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, if we're talking about more like personality, which is probably what someone deep and thoughtful like Proust was thinking of, then I would say probably just that I'm stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Uh-huh. Okay.
Selena likes the plan and no deviation.
I'm trying.
It's tough.
It's a lifelong journey.
Mine is super similar. So I actually...
Curly hair,
of course, except mine's straight. Red, except mine's brown. No, I actually think I was having this conversation with Kyle, actually this last week, about how I perceive myself versus how other people perceive me. I couldn't actually tell you if someone were trying to point me out in a room. I have no idea what they would say about me because in my mind, people would be like, Nikki, who's Nikki? I don't remember a Nikki. So I don't even know like how someone would point me out to someone else. So physical characteristic, like that way of approaching the question, I couldn't answer. I have no idea. I would say for people who know me, similar to your stubbornness is my like need to control a situation. Like I'm like, it doesn't matter how it gets done as long as it's done this way. It's totally cool. Like whatever you think makes sense. But did you think about doing it this way? Because this way makes a lot of sense. And I think like if you were to ask the people who know me the best, like if thinking about my parents or family, they would say like, she likes to be in control. She likes to manage a thing.
I've seen your vacation spreadsheet.
That's just being organized. It's making sure we get where we need to be.
It's true. Hey, I appreciate
it's planned spontaneity. And everybody loves that.
Free time from 2 to 3.
Right. That seems like a really long free time. I usually do 2 to 2:10.
Well, you don't want to get off track.
No.
I would say, though, if we're going to... You have some... Okay, first of all, you're like... Aren't you closing in on 5'10"?
Oh, uh-huh.
So I'm sure someone would go, the tall one.
I sometimes wonder, am I the tall one in the room? Like, I don't know.
Yes.
I haven't been around people in a long time.
Oh, so. That's true. Are you? Well, then I'm the tall one.
That's true.
At telework.
That's true. You are the tallest one in the house most days. You're teleworking.
That's right. As long as Casey's not home, it's not his day off, I am the tallest person here.
There you go.
But also you have very bright blue eyes. So I don't know if people usually like, the one with the eyes.
I don't think so.
I mean, sometimes if people you have very pretty eyes. So
thanks, Selena.
But it
I
also
come here so she'll build me up.
That would be a really it's kind of a dumb way to be like, the one with the blue eyes. Huh?
You have to be very close to her to notice, but when you get there, you'll know.
You'll know they're blue. Yeah.
They're probably like the one with the coffee cup. You see her. She's drinking coffee.
Oh, that's okay, because mine would be like the one with the 3 coffee cups. You need multiple drinks. You need a front drink, a back drink.
That's true.
That's just the way it is. Okay, moving right along. What do you most value in your friends?
Loyalty. I have to be honest with you that if the stuff hits the fan and there's like a fracture or a drama, I want my friends to have my side. I think it's fine for them to tell me I'm wrong. It's fine for them to say, I think you're in the wrong, but I support you 100%. I don't think you made the right choice here, or I think you're doing the wrong thing, but I support you 100%. That's really important to me.
Well, that's a great one. And I would totally agree with that. I would say, though, for the sake of saying the very first thing that came to my head was very similar to this idea of what you're saying about the people who know you the best. And that's what I value the most in my friends. Is like, they know what's coming down the path with me. I can be a total a-hole and they'll still love me tomorrow. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, it's not like I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to be the biggest jerk today because it'll all be okay. But like, I can have like my style explosion and I know that things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
But also just that idea that like, we don't have to entertain each other anymore. We're way past that.
Right.
So if we sit in silence, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Just the fact that like, I think some of us can probably finish each other's sentences, like that kind of thing. Like, you can't buy that. There's no one that can replace that. And I think especially with my friends, just because it goes back to childhood, it's just like, it's something that feels like automatic nostalgia and comfort and home, no matter where we are in the world. So that would be mine.
That's nice.
Speaking of comfort and joy,
I'll be home for Christmas. Season 2, episode 7.
Yeah.
Not true. Episode 12.
I'm like, yes. Season 18, episode 432.
Season 2, episode 12.
We've all been waiting for it.
I'll be home for Christmas. Hulu says, a moonlighting Santa puts the spirit of Christmas to a real test when he steals the gifts he's been hired to put under the tree. IMDb. Oh, God, this is long. IMDb says, at Christmas time, Mary Jo is upset because her son Quentin doesn't believe in Santa Claus and sets up a trap to prove it. Charlene, who plays Santa at her church, stops by to give him a surprise, with Anthony as an elf. Suzanne decides to surprise them and send a department store Santa over there. Anthony gets caught and breaks his ankle, and the department store Santa steals the tree and all of the presents.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us this week on...
We have no more time.
Right.
This one aired December 21st, 1987. It was written by LBT and directed by Harry Thomason.
Dynamic duo.
There you go. So, general reactions and stray observations. Can I start with one?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I have a scene setter.
Okay.
I feel like maybe I missed some things or there were some details that were missing in this episode.
Oh.
So this one's kind of minor and you could chalk it up to a technicality.
Okay.
But Mary Jo says she wouldn't have her kids on Christmas Day. She said that's the whole point of the beginning of the episode is she's like upset because she's not going to have her kids. But they were there on Christmas Eve. So she would then have them for at least part of Christmas Day.
Right.
So what's she whining about?
Yeah.
She didn't get them all day? She needed all 24 hours? My opinion is get the fun part and then send them away to someone else.
I did have a passing thought about that. I mean, I think the trouble is that, oh, never mind. I'm thinking about JD. So JD's in Alabama.
Right.
Or wherever he is.
Yeah, we're somewhere like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just 80s sitcom magic.
All right.
They
so that
can
was
just transport around.
thing one. So you're going to give me the same answer for thing two, which is, did they ever explain why Anthony didn't go to Macon to visit his grandmother? Because that was part of his storyline was, why don't you come to Macon with me?
He
She
hurt
makes the
his
best
foot.
pumpkin pie. So he was going to go after Christmas Eve. He was going to go like on Christmas Day.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
You can definitely get to Macon.
Okay.
Leaving Christmas Day morning.
I'll buy that one. Then the last thing was, did the cast draw names for gift giving? Because at the end, they have the whole gift exchange.
Yeah, I think all that happens off screen.
That's annoying to me.
Well,
I need to see that level of
detail. They did do that setup, though, where they said, like, where everybody started kind of, the fish was this big.
Not sure what she's doing.
So the idea that, like, they made their gifts sound better than they were.
So that's why I'm asking the question, because they jump into this gift exchange they're doing, but they never actually said, like, Anthony, you're going to have Charlene. Charlene, you're going to have Suzanne.
That's true. That's something you want to see?
Well, it's just...
We know they're doing presents.
But Anthony was going to be gone for Christmas. So he was not going to be there for said gift exchange. But somehow they
I agree
were giving
that's
away...
a hole. I agree that's a hole.
It's massive.
I'm going to tell you another hole, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so in previous episodes, we finally learned a little bit about Anthony's background, and he's going to Alabama. He's going to Alabama to see his family. Now he's going to Macon. So which is it? And we know his family's smaller because I'm not trying to bring down the mood here, but we know that he's also lost some family members, including his mom. So I'm not saying it's a total like, whoops, but like it feels like we're teetering on the line now.
You see why I'm bothered? Because maybe he's going to Macon via Alabama. Like maybe he's going to stop over and visit the Alabama family before he goes to Macon. There's no time to do that if he weren't leaving till Christmas Day.
Sure. Just the way you said that, I was like, well, you definitely don't go through Alabama to get to Macon if you don't have to.
I know.
I mean, I know
I'm
bad with directions. And I might have taken that route accidentally.
It doesn't make sense.
So, okay. So
what other... So those are my general reactions. I feel like I need to start this happy-go-lucky, cozy episode about the holidays by pointing out all the plot holes. What reactions did you have?
So the very first thing that I thought of as we were getting into the episode was actually that I just liked hearing Charlene have like a down the rabbit hole minute again. I don't know if you remember this one, but she's thinking about something right at the beginning. So, she's thinking about how she's not going home for Christmas and how there's lots of Virgils in her family and even babies named Virgil sometimes. And she sure is glad Sybil Shepherd had her twins. And I just liked it. I guess I could have probably put that in my likes, but we haven't had, I feel like, one of those ones where she starts with Elvis and ends with a sandwich.
Right.
Although that might be an easy leap, but whatever. Let's not look too closely into it, Another general reaction I guess I had was just kind of like noticing the way that Sugar Baker's was decorated.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Christmas happening.
A lot of Christmas trees.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense for a decorating firm. Only 3.
Yeah.
So
it seems like a small place for 3 trees, but it looked like Christmas had thrown up in there.
lots of poinsettias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another general reaction I had, a piano for a Christmas gift. That's pretty swanky.
Well, they've established that Suzanne is pretty swanky.
And I think they carry a lot of that into this episode.
Yeah.
Where we are once again, we know everyone's status.
Right.
Even when they're talking about the gift exchange, which I'm sure we'll get to. Did you have other general reactions?
No, nothing. I don't think anything general. I have some strays.
Take us there.
So Anthony said his uncle wasn't very couth.
No.
And our bingo card uses the word uncouth. So I'm inclined to say that one counts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quentin is getting weights for Christmas. Weren't the weights like a whole thing in episode 1 this season?
Early in the season, yeah, because his dad had gotten those for him. She lists that in the things.
Of things that the dad got
Yeah,
for him?
yeah.
So maybe he's getting finally his set of weights for her house.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
He's really committed to the physical fitness.
So maybe that's continuity.
Maybe. In more continuity, there was a throwback to Charlene's dad's bank loan story from the Nashville episode in
Yes.
season 1.
Yes.
So more continuity. I like it.
Right.
Okay, and then this is maybe less stray and more we need to talk about this. I want to get your reaction to this.
Okay.
Did Julia's quote-unquote pep talk at the end of the episode strike you as maybe a little bit condescending? And more so than normal. And I say this because she's the one that got what she actually wanted for Christmas, which was her son to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually got what she wants. Then she gives this whole speech about like, oh, I can't remember everything she said, but basically just that idea, I think, of like, it's not the gifts, it's the people you're with and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, of course it's the people you're with. You're with the person you wanted to be with.
Oh, right. And like we should be thankful for the good Christmases that we've had.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, well, you're adding another good Christmas to your list this year.
I think I think it's established I really care for Julia's character a lot, as much as one can.
Right.
For a person who doesn't exist.
Sure, right.
But I think a lot of times Julia's kind of condescending.
This felt more so than normal, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Or just like, maybe condescending isn't the right word. Maybe it was just like unaware.
Right.
Or something. I was just like listening to it on my third watch or whatever. And I was like, all right, Julia Bulia, you're the one who got what you wanted. Like, of course you're happy.
Sure.
Everybody else, like Mary Jo still doesn't have her kids.
Right. I mean, she
I
has
can't remember. Well, I mean, she has them part-time. Anywho.
Well, I feel like all of mine are like very stray.
Okay. How much more stray can we get than me starting with plot holes?
Well.
Perceived plot holes.
So Charlene is like a side hustle queen. She's staying behind to prepare for her real estate exam. Or at least that's her excuse.
Right.
So I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Like in season 1, she was doing the cosmetics. Like, it just feels like, I mean, maybe she needs to be being paid a little more.
I was going to say maybe being the receptionist and paying the bills.
She's the office manager.
Sorry. Right.
She makes all systems go.
Sorry.
But I think, so to connect to what you were saying, I actually have something in here about how at the beginning in this, Julia says that Christmas isn't what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So maybe that just doesn't pair well with at the end, like her having this breakthrough, but doing it in a preachy way instead of like taking some ownership of the way that she's acted through the episode.
Yeah.
But the reason that actually stood out to me is because I feel like Christmas isn't what it used to be is something I've heard my entire life. I feel like, and at different points, like, and so somewhere someone means that for like the year 2005. You know what I'm saying? Like, in 2005, it was a beautiful time in this world, you know.
It's never what it used to be once you grow up.
I think, so look, there are extenuating circumstances where someone, like if someone has lost a loved one, like those kinds of like high stake things. I mean, that is that's a whole game changer. But to some extent, I feel like Christmas is what you make it. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, like I don't have kids, so I don't have that.
You don't have any kids?
Then who are those children?
You don't have them hidden around here?
So, but but I say that to say that, like, sometimes I know people are like, it's seeing the excitement in their eyes. It's like that makes it magical time of the year. It's a magical time for me.
It was magical for me before we had kids. Right. I agree.
And it's just because, and we'll get into this in this week's extra sugar, but to talk about like traditions and things that you hold dear, and like, I mean, it's just nostalgia extraordinaire.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Hopefully. For some people, it might not be.
Right.
Some people may not have ever had that childhood experience, but if you're coming from a place of privilege that you have had wonderful Christmases, to your point, yeah, you can always kind of tap back into that.
I'm going to tell you something. Someone in my family manages to screw up Christmas every year, and I still enjoy it. I'll have you know. So, this is another stray. Charlene is baking a raccoon. Did that make your list?
No. You know what? I think I meant for it to be somewhere, and I think I completely forgot to put it in there.
This probably almost could have been a Selena sidebar, but like, I'm chilling out. But I did have to look at least the thing up, because she says it's an Ozark tradition. And I was like, well, maybe it really is. Now I have to know.
Is it?
It's at least partially true. Huh. But not necessarily just like an Ozark tradition, but a little broader than that. I'll link to a Smithsonian article I found. But basically, there was a time when raccoon meat was pretty popular in the U.S., many times more for necessity, I think. And especially before the meat that we're accustomed to became cheaper and like more widely available.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But part of this article that I found too talks about how someone sent a raccoon to President Calvin Coolidge back in the day, which is funny because today I feel like that would be like a threat.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was a gift.
Nice.
But they sent it to him to eat. And he couldn't do it, so they wound up keeping it as a family pet.
Oh, they sent him a real raccoon, not a cooked raccoon.
Yeah.
And they said, here's your Christmas dinner.
Right.
And he was like, no can do.
Right.
So he kept it for a family pet, or he sent it back to them?
No, they kept it. The Coolidges did.
So the Coolidge's raccoon.
And they talk about all the mayhem this raccoon caused at the White House.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Yeah.
He's pulling garbage out of the trash can.
All kinds of stuff.
Oh, man.
So,
raccoons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know? So a shout out to my godmother, Sherry, who had a pet skunk.
Oh, that's nice. It was de-skunked?
Flippin' cute.
How do they do that?
I don't even think I want to know.
Well, I'm going to have to know.
Suddenly, I'm sure it's something to do with glands.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really works that well, because I think that's eventually why she and the skunk had to part ways.
I don't want to keep it outside or inside.
I was very, very small. So, Sherry, if you're listening, text me.
Does Sherry listen?
Sherry has tuned in. I don't know if she's listening on a regular basis.
Yeah, Sherry, I need
Not
this
to call
story.
you out. Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm on a need-to-know basis now.
They're so cute. You see maybe
I bet they're
skunks.
cute, yeah.
Also, raccoons are super cute.
Raccoons are very cute.
Little trash pandas.
Trash pandas, they are very cute. It's true. Now I want a pet raccoon, but I don't want him to pull my trash out. I don't know why I feel like that's the one thing I know about raccoons is they go through trash.
Does it make you feel better or worse when I tell you that that is not what's coming for you for Christmas from me?
Oh, well, just hold on to my Christmas gift.
Recording sign, and you just don't feel the need to buy me an animal.
There's no raccoon in it for me.
Can't have nothing. This episode is where we see absurd Suzanne start to show up.
Oh, yeah.
Because we talked about how this was going to be a thing.
The pig.
Did this work for you?
You know what is so funny? I think I missed the pig for the most part on the first watch.
Okay.
I was so distracted by these massive plot holes.
Sure.
It was kind of funny, but also, and maybe we'll definitely get into this with cut lines later. There were a few cut lines introducing a little bit more about the pig or a little additional detail maybe.
Yeah.
And so it just sort of felt like a sideshow.
Right.
Versus a plot line.
Like too random or something.
Yes, right.
Okay. Well, I thought it was, I liked it, I think.
I thought it was very cute.
Noelle is a great name.
Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
And how Christmassy. But she has it in a matching outfit, the purple dress. So I'm getting like Lee Sing vibes.
I was going to say, I'm feeling the drawback, the throwback to that one.
Yeah, and so and I guess the other thing is like Consuela's family. This is more consistency, continuity. One of those C words.
Whatever.
Christmas, continuity, whatever. So they're in the meat business. So many good jokes today. So they're in the exotic meat business, I think, or something. It's God, sorry. Anywho, they give her the pig as a gift. So it's really supposed to be a meal.
Calvin Coolidge could have taught her a thing or two.
Oh, see how it's all coming together? And then she has this whole diatribe about how, you know how hard it is to find a 26-inch rhinestone collar? I don't know, but it sounds hard.
It sounds hard. It really does.
I will tell you, you know this about me. I wanted a micro pig.
Yes.
This is why I won't get one. I mean, that and they're like $3,000.
Oh, right.
So thing one, thing two.
I think they also tear up your house, don't they?
When they're suddenly sitting next to you and looking at you in the eye. Yeah. I don't even, like, I just imagine it, like, one day it's all cute, it's cuddly in my arms, and the next day it's like, we're sitting, like, butt to butt on the couch, and I can't do that.
Or can you?
I mean, no, I can't.
I feel like one day that happens, and you look over, and you're like, this is my life now. I don't hate it, but this is where I am. Yeah, I like the pig. I thought Noelle was really cute.
Other strays for you?
That's all I had in the stray zone.
Me too. I'm just kidding. You know, I have more. Not a ton. I just want to say about the second Santa that Suzanne sends in. Was it so? Charlene and Anthony just headed out after some stranger walks them to their car, and like so this Santa like heads back inside, and they're just like, "Bye, Santa," and they just drive away. I know Anthony's hurt. And maybe Santa acted like he was getting in his van where he was stealing everything or something. But isn't that weird?
But he was Santa. Like,
but they got robbed by Santa.
Right.
Oh, did I miss the whole essence of the episode?
I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
Okay.
In a way that doesn't sound ridiculous.
Oh, they thought he was Santa.
I think there was a time where they were like,
they weren't
crap.
Sure.
Like, we thought we'd be in and out before a possible big guy got here. And their whole point was to be like a production for Quentin in case the real deal didn't work out for him. So at the end, they say, like, it was Anthony who says, he's not the real Santa, are you? And I think there was just like a moment where they were like, could this be real?
Right. And
I don't want to be the one to ask.
Well, and Charlene's in the mix, so you know that she's the most trusting person. Okay, fine. All right, I got another point, though.
Okay.
Fine.
Come at me. Give me another one.
Let the old man back in the house with the children. Why steal a Christmas tree? Why?
Why'd the Grinch do it?
I don't know.
There are ugly people in the world.
Some
people just like to watch it burn.
But this guy's just a thief. So what are you going to do with it?
Maybe he needed a Christmas tree.
Maybe he thought it was like full of like Swarovski.
No, maybe he needed a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Maybe he didn't make it to the lot.
You're just nothing but a little kind heart over there, aren't
Christmas,
you?
man. Mm-hmm. Christmas.
Okay, well, I'm just saying also, like, logistically, it's an awfully big thing to get out the door, not make any noise, no one's heard. Maybe Mary Jo's taken some really strong sleeping medication.
I think, well, right. No, I think this one definitely gave me Grinch vibes. And I can say that because I do have kids, and we've been reading The Grinch a lot lately.
Sure.
And one of the things is he left nothing but some hooks and some wire. On the walls, he left nothing but hooks and some wire. He literally, like, cleans them out. He takes their last can of Who Hash.
Okay, but we know why he does that. We know the psychology of the Grinch. He hates Christmas, so he wants to get rid of every trace.
Maybe this guy hates
This
Christmas.
guy is a robber. Okay.
You know what, LBT? I have a challenge for you. I want
Make
some
Selena's
character.
heart grow by 3 sizes.
No, I want some character development on this Santa guy. Okay. I want to know a little bit more of his background. Because, like, have you ever seen the movie Bad Santa?
Yeah, it's been a long
He's got
time.
some baggage.
Sure.
He's got some baggage. I feel like this man has some baggage too.
Okay.
Maybe once he had a robbery go south on Christmas and now he can't do Christmas ever because his partner was killed. Maybe he used to be a police officer and he used to fight crime. And on Christmas, he was fighting a robber. His partner got killed and now he can't face Christmas the same ever again.
So now he makes crime.
Because he's the Grinch.
Okay. You might be on to something. And I'm sure LBT will get all over that.
I think she will. We've successfully made this the strayest of the strays, though. And by we, I mean me.
Let's talk about what we liked.
All right. I liked that this one's original air date was right at Christmas time. We've talked about that before.
Would never happen now.
No, I don't think so.
No, because I think people think that you don't tune in around that time, especially with like DVRs and stuff.
Right.
So what's the point?
Right. But I loved that. It feels like Mary Jo and Claudia, have turned a corner with their relationship.
Oh, that's true.
It seemed very soft. Claudia even like proactively volunteered to like dry the dishes or something. Do you want me to stay up a little bit longer, Mom? I can help you dry the dishes.
Yeah.
There might have been a little like, I don't know. Maybe there was some like teenagerness behind it. Like she wanted to, maybe she thought she had an entry point to finding out what she got for Christmas early or something, but she offered.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the throwback pictures at the end while they were singing and they put the cast pictures up. I love those things.
Yeah. I thought that was a really, really, really nice touch.
I liked that. So those were my 3 big likes.
Okay.
Not big. My 3 likes.
We call them big.
Okay.
Humongous likes.
I should have put the pig on there because I did actually like that part of the episode.
So you can move it around.
I had the pig on there.
We'll count it. I probably shouldn't, but I couldn't help but laugh at Anthony's story about Uncle Willie.
Oh, it was ridiculous and sad.
Yeah. I don't even know if I should say him here, but they were like all these like, instead, like I don't know what it was about it that got me. I guess it was this idea that like, I mean, sometimes like life is hard and you have to have an excuse for not having presents, but instead of coming up with like, he's just a terrible liar as part of it. But he's like, all the elves were massacred outside of a 7-Eleven. That's the one I'll choose to say for this. But like, it's just, sometimes you get desperate. Yeah. I think when you have like kids around and you're like, you're reaching, and it was just maybe not the best reach, but I couldn't help but laugh. So it's a little bit of dysfunctional behavior, I guess, but I love that Charlene stayed behind for Mary Jo. Mm-hmm. And I love that Julia and Suzanne both stayed behind for each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we kind of have to do that thing just to get everybody in the same room.
Right.
But I think that's a nice touch. And I
call that loyalty.
I hear that's important to you.
It is.
And it's true to their characters.
Yeah.
So I think all that's good. I also liked Anthony singing the Christmas song.
Oh.
Or as he called it, chestnuts roasting by an open fire. I bet you they did that on purpose so that people would know what song it was.
Probably.
And then you mentioned this already, but I really did like that part where Anthony starts crying when Charlene starts talking.
Aww.
And it's because he preemptively thought that she was going to tell another bank loan story. So those are all mine.
So what about things you didn't like?
This is silly.
Okay.
I've never been a fan of I Saw Mama Kissing Santa Claus.
Oh, the song?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh, really?
Not really.
Oh.
It's just kind of weird. I understand what it means.
Yeah.
It's just like that one and then Santa Baby are also very weird to me, where I'm just like, okay.
I think those fall in the category of me not overthinking things.
Yeah, don't overthink it. But like, I just don't need a sexy Santa song.
Santa Baby, that's true, did come on the radio recently, and it's creepy.
What is happening? I don't know what's going on there, but I just don't.
That one raised some questions from whichever kid was in the backseat when it was on, like, why is she asking Santa for this? Or why is she asking Santa for that? And I was like, I don't know. It's a grown-up wish list.
With him. Is that what you turned around and said? I also didn't really, I just didn't understand the style in which Mary Jo was singing.
Oh.
I saw them. Like, why? Why? I think that wasn't the style of singing for 87.
It strikes me, I wonder, if there was a conversation between her and LBT about any special talent she has. And she says, I could do this really funny, old-timey accent.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
And so they wrote it into the show.
Yeah, I could see that. Because, I mean, it is, like, spot on.
Well, then
era.
She makes up, like, a weird story about it. Like, she used to sing that as a kid.
Old
and I was
folks' home.
Did you sing like that when you were 7?
Right.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
And then the only other thing for me is like Suzanne's prank. she's the one that gets the Santa sent over there in the first place, you know.
She's the mastermind.
It's just, it's like kind of, it's a little mean-spirited. And
Suzanne's a little mean-spirited.
that's true. And very thoughtless.
Yeah.
Also, just this general idea of like a good Christmas prank. It's just like a little lost on me. It's like, let's kill him. You know,
let's send a mass murderer.
Right. And then she like didn't even get it when Mary Jo's like, so you didn't understand like maybe why you shouldn't give a stranger my address. And Suzanne's like, what's the big deal? If y'all are going to keep talking about this, I'm going home. She's such a butt. I do love her. She is.
I love her. I think the only thing I didn't like, and I feel mean saying this because I'm not a critic and I don't write shows, but I thought the storyline was just a little sloppy. Like, if you're going to give me a Christmas episode, I'm either going to need you to up the, like, emotional side of things. So, like, Payne coming home was nice, I guess, but, like, it didn't really warm the cockles of my heart, you know? So it either needs to be, like, up the emotional ante or, like, make it really, really funny, but, like, don't leave all these plot holes for me to fixate on because I have problems.
LBT, why would you give Nikki cold cockles?
I have the cockles that are cold.
They're chilly.
The Christmassy cold cockles.
And so, well, if that's it.
That's it.
That's all you didn't like. How about we rate this sucker? Tell us that rating scale, Nikki.
Pig pets.
Pig pets, okay. And how many pig pets do we have?
It feels incongruous.
Did you give it a 7?
With our conversation.
Okay.
I gave it a 4.
You had 4.
But I'm not sure as I'm talking about it that it sounds like I liked this episode that much.
I gave it a 4.
It felt, I mean, I like
You talked yourself down?
I think I did. No, I'm going with 4.
You sure?
I can't be negative. It's Christmas. Okay. It's Christmas. This is my present.
Okay. You want to say anything else?
I love a good Christmas episode. That's it.
Okay. So I think ours are very similar. My rating scale is different. So I did give it a 4 out of 5, but it was Christmas time B&Es.
Oh.
That's breaking and entering.
Takes me a minute.
For the general public. Hey, I took Criminal Justice 101 in college. And I went, nope, not for me. So I was saying, I was just happy to get a Christmas time episode. This is kind of funny given your dislike. I thought it was a pretty unique idea for a plot line. I thought the two Santas idea was unique. But I agree maybe it could have been a little tighter.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't do this for a living.
Right.
But I did think it was a sweet episode, and I thought it was cozy enough for the season.
Yeah. That's fine.
Given those cozy vibes.
Yeah. And we got the pig. So all's well that ends well.
Yeah. It's just, now I'm hungry. That's the other reason I can't have a pig, I guess.
Pig to go with your pineapple.
I know. I'm like, what's in the fridge?
I'm going to walk down. She's going to be eating a hot dog.
I don't know. Like, I got like it's like that summer sausage.
Oh, well, there you go.
There might be some pig in there.
Oh, gross.
Somewhere. I'm sorry. I didn't make it.
What about references, Selena?
Okay. Got combination. Anything you got there?
I have Sybil Shepherd's twins.
Okay.
Because that would have been the 80s.
Okay.
I didn't know it. I don't know. The joke in the show was that it sounded like Sybil was pregnant a really long time. There are some celebrities who do that. I think Jessica Simpson was one I always think of, who I just felt like was pregnant for a long time. Kim Kardashian was one. They're pregnant. I mean, the routine amount of time. But they either announce really early or it just dominates the news cycle that you feel like it's all you've heard about for 9 months. But also, that's really all. I didn't find very much helpful, except that Sybil was pregnant during her show Moonlighting, which was a show with Bruce Willis. And it sounds like, without going way into the weeds, because I'm not going to watch this show, but it sounds like her pregnancy played into both a not well-received storyline and also potentially the end of the show. Oh. She did the show a little longer after she had the twins, but then decided she wanted to take some time off from that like grueling schedule to be a mom. So I think it was part and parcel to all the same things. And it was a big part of the news cycle was that she was pregnant and it was playing into the show and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I just assumed it was like on all the grocery store magazine covers for the duration. And I did actually find the People cover from right after they were born. actually, that cover is from December 21st when this show airs.
Oh, how
That's weird.
timely. That's weird.
I just realized that. Yeah, I think it's because of the hit show. You know, I think they were a huge deal then. I think Moonlighting was a huge deal. And I was wondering if her age played into it some too. Like people were fascinated because she was 37. And I feel like while we are trending being a little older and having kids now, in the 80s, like both of our moms were moms. And they were in their very early 20s.
Yeah, by the time my mom was Sybil Shepherd's age, I was probably about to graduate high school.
Same.
Yeah.
Like I was in high school when my mom went to her 20th.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm old.
It feels good, doesn't it? So obviously we both looked that one up. So that's, that was definitely a standout. Did you have any other combinations? So the other thing that hit me was the Anheuser-Busch Slade commercial.
Oh, uh-huh.
And because I was thinking, for me, it fit 80s. And then also it was something I guess I didn't have to look it up, but I just wanted to.
Oh, okay.
These are always the ones with the Clydesdale horses. But I wanted to see if I could just find the one they were talking about. I did find one from 87 with those like iconic Clydesdales in them. But it didn't have I'll Be Home for Christmas playing in the background.
Oh.
It doesn't really matter. I just wanted to see if I could find it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
80s things?
I put the Anheuser-Busch horse-drawn carriage commercial there.
Okay.
But that had like a reboot, right? Like it had a second life in the 90s.
I think that's been an enduring marketing campaign.
Okay. Because I remember it as a kid watching it, but it wouldn't have been like 87. I would have been too young for that.
Yeah. It's definitely one that they've recycled. Like, think about like the M&M characters.
Yeah.
I only have one, which was...
For 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was an overseas operator.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't seem like a big thing today. And what about Southern things?
Anthony's grandmother living in Macon and the fact that she's making sweet potato pie, which I think we talked about. When did I do my pie, Extra Sugar?
Season 1, around the Thanksgiving episode.
Okay. I talked about it there. Go back and listen.
I think it's episode 7. Season 1, episode 7, I think. So, not just sweet potato pie.
Oh.
Sweet potato pie that'll make you slap your mama.
Oh, sure. Right.
So,
right.
That's pretty Southern.
I doubt that. I probably wouldn't slap my mama over it.
You don't slap your mama over anything.
Not good practice. Mom slaps back. She slaps harder.
Yeah. Let's see.
That was the only Southern reference I had.
We talk about JD going to Birmingham.
You mentioned it earlier.
Okay.
We didn't spend a lot of time on it.
That sounds familiar. I did it.
Okay. JD.
So boom, boom, boom. We got that one done. So did you have anything else on your reference look that, on your list that you either looked up because you needed to, or you felt like we needed to talk about it?
I tried to look up the Holiday Inn tap room, and I didn't find very much. Although today, I think it was this morning, it might have been last night, I did finally do like just a one last ditch effort to Google it. And it just sounds like it's like that restaurant that's attached sometimes to motels and hotels. Like a lot of times now it's like a Denny's or something like that. This sounds like it was just the bar diner thing. I think there's one we stayed at, I want to say Doubletree, like up in Asheville near the Biltmore. And there's just like a little restaurant attached to it. And there's a bar and I'm assuming an entertainer. When we went, there wasn't. But it sounds like it was just an entertainer at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, it felt like there should have been more to it, you know?
There's not.
Yeah, I also couldn't find anything, but I tried.
What if we spent less of our lives looking up the Holiday Inn tap room and more of our lives inventing something incredible? We'd be amazing people. We could change the world.
Well, everybody's got a role.
That's true.
And this is just the role we were born to play.
That's true.
My only other one was the Ward Cleaver Christmas, which was Mary Jo was just like, I just wish we could have ourselves an old-fashioned Ward Cleaver Christmas. And that,
as someone who used to watch Leave It to Beaver, I didn't feel compelled to look that up.
Oh, you did watch Leave It to Beaver. Oh, okay. Well, like, I know who the Cleavers are, but
Right.
I'm just going to go ahead and I did not realize his first name was Ward. So
Ward and June, I think.
yes. Now, June Cleaver, I've heard that name a lot, but for whatever reason, I've not ever heard his first name before. So I was thinking, I was like, are the Wards like the Waltons?
Oh,
But anyway, so it's really just that, referencing that real classic Americana kind of Christmas. A Norman Rockwell painting, if you will.
yeah.
So cut lines.
There were a lot in this one.
Oh.
Like, I had 5 or so, which I think is a
Really?
lot, but like tiny, tiny, insignificant ones.
Okay.
I have one that's not quite so insignificant, but
Okay.
not like super significant. But the one I have in those lines, we learn the pig's name is Noel. That's actually introduced in these cut lines. I think she calls the pig Noel later in the episode.
She does.
But they never actually said the pig's name is Noel. She just says Noel.
Sure.
So we learn the pig's name is Noel. We learn Suzanne's feeling lonely and has actually found comfort in her pig. And we learn that Suzanne's dating a man named Hugh. So after Julia says, I think this is like right after she walks in with the pig, maybe. After Julia says she can't believe Suzanne's just walking around with a pig on a leash, Suzanne says, or maybe this is when they're shopping. Why not? It just fits my mood. It's the worst Christmas I ever had. All my vacation plans fell through. I haven't heard a thing from any of my ex-husbands, not even a Christmas card. And then Julia says, well, how about Hugh? Aren't you still dating him? No, not anymore. He's in intensive care again. He's always in intensive care, and I'm just sick and tired of it. Suzanne, after all, he is 80 years old. Oh, he's just a big hypochondriac. And then she says, anyway, I was sitting there last night feeling sorry for myself, and Noelle came over and nudged me with her little snout. She's ugly, isn't she? But I'm genuinely fond of this pig. I know it's crazy, and I can't explain myself, but there it is. So there was a lot in that cut section that I felt like was important.
Yeah, so at first I thought maybe that undercut her being nice and staying behind for Julia. But then the more I thought about it, not really, because I don't think that she ever really wanted Julia to know that she stayed behind for her.
Right.
So it would make sense to lay it on pretty thick.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I had that one was so long that I got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to summarize this.
That's what I should have done.
No, I think it's good to have them. That site is really hard to copy and paste from.
It sure is.
That's what a website wants to hear. When I'm trying to plagiarize you, it's hard as hell.
We are crediting them though.
That's true every time.
But all the other ones I had,
Scripts.com.
all the other ones I had were like super insignificant cuts.
Okay. I only have one other one, but I didn't think it was significant. I think basically it was Julia insinuating Noel would be Christmas dinner or something. Damn it, Julia. Not Noel.
So mean.
Not Noel. So, next episode.
Next episode, episode 13, season 2, episode 13.
Or episode 452.
Who's to say? Great Expectations. So we'd love everyone to follow along with us and engage. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Sweet Tea and TV. Our email address is sweetteatvpod@gmail.com. And our website, where Selena mentioned earlier, she'll drop a couple of references from this episode and all episodes. www.sweetteatv.com. And hang tight for extra sugar. We're talking Christmas memories.
Yeah, I wish I had like some Christmas bells or something. Or like some...
Oh,
the,
I have a bell. Ding, ding,
Oh,
ding,
I do too.
ding, ding.
From Downton Abbey.
Oh,
It's downstairs.
same.
Well, you know what bells mean. We'll see you around the bend.
Bye.
Welcome to this week's edition of Extra Sugar. And this week, it's all things Christmas!
Yay! Christmas.
That's
I love Christmas.
Gonna sound weird with no background music. Just like me in a closet. Which is literally what's happening right now. So it's perfect, really, if you think about it. I have been so excited for this stinking extra sugar.
Oh,
I can't
good.
tell you. Yes. So, I wanted to start like broadly today talking about traditions that are held regionally, like specifically here in the South, and then talk about our personal traditions.
Okay.
And with the regional ones, I thought what we could do is weigh in and say, do it, don't do it.
Okay. I like this.
Okay.
This sounds fun.
So all of this too, we can share some of the articles that I got it from. Obviously, Southern Living is kind of like a little bit of a Bible for this show.
Oh, right.
They're just always covering it. I don't even know, where do they come up with all this content from all the time? It's a lot. But so the very first thing that they mentioned was that basically you cover every surface in your house. Like there's no undecorated surfaces at Christmas time because that makes Southerners nervous. They actually specifically mention cover everything with pine, magnolias, and red velvet bows. Does any of this ring true for you?
We decorate a lot of our house. And every year I feel like we add more. And that's been, I feel like when I was a kid, we had a fair amount of stuff. There was always some at one of the houses, because when I was a kid, we split Christmases between my mom and my dad for different parts of Christmas. And there would always be like a Christmas village in one of the houses. There's always a Christmas tree. Magnolias, not so much because they're not really blooming right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're beautiful, but I don't think of them as a Christmas flower. And then red velvet bows, we definitely had those on the tree.
Oh, okay. So, well, I sort of thought of this twofold. So the first thing actually, undecorated surfaces at Christmas time make Southerners nervous. Very much so rings true for me.
Really?
Well, if you go downstairs, you won't see anything that doesn't have something Christmassy on
I
it.
think that rings true for you, though, for every holiday, right?
Yes.
I was just here for like before Thanksgiving, and every surface had some sort of pumpkin on it.
Actually, Casey is always like, can you please stop decorating just one of the tables?
You need somewhere to put his stuff.
You can put it on the TV tray. And then he'll go to move it, and I'm like, you know how long it took me to get that perfect. I'm a real joy. I will say that not necessarily like the magnolia, like I see magnolias a lot in Southerners' Christmas decorations or like in stores, but it's not something that I have used a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of times they wind up being like fake magnolias. Mm-hmm. I'm sure somebody's getting a hold of some real ones, maybe somehow, but that doesn't ring as true for me. The red velvet bows, some years, yes.
Yeah.
So that makes me think of Christmas wreaths.
Right.
And I actually did use big red bows on my Christmas wreaths last year.
Mm-hmm.
Pine, we do have pine all down our staircase. Mm-hmm. And in a couple of weeks, it will literally just be on the ground. So today I like touched a banister and 20 things fell off, and I was like,
is it
okay.
real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's real. And then I'll clip up whatever's left over, and I will put it in different places around the house.
Oh, so it smells good.
It's kind of nice for the smell, too. Okay, so the next thing on the list was setting a grand table. So specifically Southern Living writes, we're partial to Spode Christmas tree and Lennox holiday dinnerware. That's the one with the elegant ring of holly around the rim of the plate. Do it. Don't do it.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, this is kind of funny. So my mom has some really pretty Christmas dinnerware. It is not Spode, and it is not Lennox, but it has like a Christmas pattern on it. And I have had my eye on Spode forever. And Kyle told me this year, he was like, if you just started buying the Spode stuff when you started talking about it, you'd have a full collection now. Because every year I look at it and I'm like, but it's kind of expensive and you have to have somewhere to store that stuff. And I actually have a really nice china set, just a normal china set that takes up every square inch of all of my china cabinets. So I'd have to have like a special box that goes in the basement that I only pull out once a year. And I'm like fighting minimalism anyway. So I've never done it. But like I said, my mom's table was always at Christmas time is always decorated very beautifully. Even when I was a kid, like my brother would be like 9 and you wouldn't want to put fine china. That was when we pulled the china out because that was our one time was at Christmas time. So absolutely, I don't do it, but it's been part of my life.
Okay. So I feel like they peered into my dining room. And I want to say that this is really weird for me because I think in a lot of ways I don't adhere to Southern tradition. That's the whole shtick for me. That's why I'm here, is to say like, yeah, I was like born here and stuff. But when it comes to Christmas time, it's like I'm by the book or something.
Yeah.
So I probably would not have chosen the pattern that I have. And I have spode, but my grandma gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that reason, I will obviously hold it forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, you can get some of those spode items at Marshall's.
I know.
Keep your eye out. But that is hard.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm also not sure spode is the pattern I want. I love the tradition of it. And like to your point, if someone handed it down to me, I would 100% use it all the time. If I'm going to buy my own, there's actually, I think it's Lennox, and it's like a platinum around the edge. I'm not a very big gold person, so this is platinum, and I love it, but it is very expensive, so I haven't bought it.
Pretty sure I've seen that one before too. I do love holiday china.
I do.
Very strange thing, but I do.
And maybe we'll get into this with our traditions, but my mom has always done Christmas Eve dinner. We don't do dinner on Christmas. We do Christmas Eve dinner with my mom. And that was sort of like we'd go to my dad's house on Christmas Day. So mom would do Christmas Eve dinner. And so that was the most fancy dinner aside from Easter. That's the most fancy dinner we had all year. That was, like I said, when she'd pull out the china.
Sure.
And so to this day, I do Christmas Eve dinner at my mom's house. So usually we'll do Christmas Eve dinner at my mom's house, and then Christmas Day we'll drive down and see Kyle's family. We've only in the last couple of years stopped doing that and staying home. So I'm going to have to set my own tradition of like a fancy dinner on Christmas at our house. I've just not had the occasion to do it yet. So I don't need a whole bunch of china.
Well, it's funny that you say that because also I have here, it's fair to say, I haven't sat at the table. Except for one time when we hosted Friendsgiving 3 years ago.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I don't eat in there.
And see, I'm too practical to go to all the trouble if no one's going to see it or use it.
I don't think no, that's not true. People have definitely called me practical, but when it comes to things like that, it's never been practical for me. And that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's just about having a beautiful holiday table. And honestly, it really is an ode to my grandmother.
Yeah.
Who has always managed to have some of the most beautiful decorations that I've ever seen.
I think Ideal Nikki loves that stuff. Like I do love, we're having a Christmas party in a couple of weeks with our friends. And so I need to just like get my mind on decorations and making things pretty. Our house is decorated for Christmas, but there are like some things to your point, like a pretty table. Should I do that? I don't know. But I love doing that stuff. And I love going to a place that's done like that.
Just make sure you do it for you and not anybody else. Because the one thing I can promise you is that no one will notice your table the way you want them to.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Another thing on the list was sprawling Christmas villages. Do it, don't do it.
I think I just mentioned this. There was always a Christmas village, and I inherited one, and I actually haven't put it out in a couple of years because I don't have a great place for it. And it's a hand-me-down, but not like a special family hand-me-down. So I don't love it, and I don't feel a massive tie to it. So the one that I really want is at Michael's. I look at it every year. This year they added like a chocolate factory, but it was like $89. And I was like, I don't know about that. So the other thing I ended up doing this year is doing little white ceramic houses with tea lights in them. That is having a moment. I keep seeing them everywhere. And I went into Target, and Target had them in the dollar section. And I was with Kyle, and he was like, can you please just buy them so we'll stop talking about them? So I have those on my mantle. Not sprawling, but a little Christmas villagey.
That's nice. It's hard to find the space for those.
Is. It really is.
So that is a don't do it. I will say when I was younger, my grandma had a pretty epic one.
Oh, yeah. They're cool to look at.
And she had one where they had the ice skating rink.
Oh.
And it was magnetized.
That's cool.
So they skated around on it. And it was very like a Dickens kind of Christmas village. So I do like them. My mother-in-law also is really into them. I don't think she puts one out anymore though, but she used to. But it's not something, it feels like it will be the straw that breaks my back.
I put mine out for years. And the other thing is having kids. It looks like a toy. And I don't want to have to tell them no because that just sucks to have something you can't touch. I hate that with kids around, to like put something out really cool and then say, not for you. So I feel bad doing that. So I think that's probably about when we stopped putting it out, was when we moved into this house and had kids. We might have done it Carolina's first Christmas because she was too little to do anything with it, but I don't want to make it look like something that's cool and then tell them no.
That's understandable. Decorate your mailbox.
I don't do that. I've never done that.
No, and then when as I was like looking at this, I was like, but maybe I need to.
You should. We have some neighbors who do it. I think every now and then there is some sort of salesperson that comes around and sells the mailbox swags. Those are the years I notice everyone seems to have one. So I don't know if I never answer the door. So I must miss the person.
Answer doors.
But I think it's very cute. And I think it gives the mail person a nice little zhuzh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's thoughtful. Poinsettias.
This is our Black Friday tradition. If we buy nothing else on Black Friday, Kyle goes to Home Depot or Lowe's to get the $2.50 poinsettias. I have 3 of them in my house right now.
Oh, really?
I haven't quite landed on where I'm going to put them. He came home one year with like 5 of them. I didn't know what to do with them. But every year, if nothing else, he goes to the Home Depot and picks some of those up.
That's nice. Well, so I've got some trivia for you.
Okay.
So
They were invented at Home Depot?
I thought you were really about to take my facts from me, and I was about to push you out the door. Like, get out. No. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Did you know that the poinsettia is tropical?
I thought that's where you were going. Yes.
Okay. Or that it is the most flowering potted plant, the most sold flowering potted plant in the country by far.
Really?
Even though it's only sold 6 weeks a year.
Did not know that part.
80 million, more than 80 million sold every year.
That's because we buy 50 of them in my house.
It's astounding though, right?
That's a lot.
It like breaks my brain. So this final thing is really connected to you do you know anything about who brought the poinsettia to the U.S.?
No.
Okay. So they were not always a Christmas plant. It was first brought to the U.S. from Mexico in the 1820s by a minister named Joel Poinsett. And where did he bring them from? Or to? South Carolina.
Oh.
So Greenville.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh. So I wanted to share that to you.
Sharing
it to you.
Where in Greenville?
Where in Greenville?
Was it like somewhere special? Like, I just wonder at Christmas time if they do a special poinsettia display I've never seen.
They probably do, and let me tell you why. He's very connected to it because not only.
Tell me about Poinsett Highway.
Oh no.
There's a highway in Greenville called Poinsett Highway.
Well, now you know why.
Now I know why.
Mm-hmm. Huh. So the plant is named after him. So obviously that's like a thing that happened. But then he died on December 12th, 1851, and that became known as National Poinsettia Day in his honor. So my guess is there's probably like a huge poinsettia thing that goes on there.
The cultivators are in Mexico are like, but what about us? He took it from us.
That's well. That's another
history.
podcast. But I wanted to share that with you too. And look, it's like it's in your blood or something.
I know. Look at that.
So,
every year we buy them.
I started to get you one, and then I was like, what if she doesn't get them because of Jackson?
So they are apparently bad for dogs.
I've heard that is a
fallacy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, I
don't know. Don't feed it to him. But
well, I was going to say, Jackson doesn't eat my plants, so
yeah,
I don't worry about it.
Some puppies are a little bit more.
I was telling someone I have a hibiscus plant, which I've had for years. It just recently, in the last couple of years, started blooming. I've literally had it like a decade, and it just took a long time to start blooming. So I was telling someone that, and Debbie Downer was like, do you know those are poisonous for dogs? And I was like, okay. And they were like, well, that's why I don't have one. I don't want to kill my dog. And I was like, we've not had a problem. We've had Jackson and the hibiscus the same amount of time. We've never had a problem.
I feel like I would have been like, you think that's bad? It's right next to my chocolate and onion plant.
Come get your chocolate.
And I just put his dog bowl underneath it.
Just let it drip off into the bowl.
Tempt the fates, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the Biltmore. Done it, don't do it, did it.
On the bucket list. I
Okay.
always want to do it, and the timing has just never worked out. because it's similar to a lot of Christmas things. Like if you're not on the list in August, you're not making it. And I don't always have the forethought to buy the tickets that far in advance. So I've never done it at Christmas.
They're expensive.
Yes. Wow.
Should we say what the Biltmore is in case someone doesn't know? It's like our castle. It's like our American castle.
The Vanderbilts.
Mm-hmm. It was one of their summer houses.
If you've ever seen the movie Richie Rich, I think that's the house they used for that movie.
Oh, did they?
The outside of the house, I believe, is the Biltmore.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in so long I can't remember, but
I'm pretty sure that's a piece of trivia I know somewhere in my brain. It's a beautiful home. It's on a beautiful piece of property. It's very much like when we were in France and we went to Versailles and it's like this French chateau overlooking this beautiful like piece of property. That's what the Biltmore is, and it's overlooking the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, if let's put it out in the universe. When you go there, Nikki,
I'm going. It's on the list.
And you decide, like, if you decide to listen to the tour, you'll hear about like why it's specifically where it was and why Vanderbilt wanted exactly.
Oh, you mean the Biltmore? I've been to the Biltmore in general. I just haven't been at Christmas time for like the Christmas experience. I think that's where most of the nation's poinsettias end up, is at the Biltmore.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And pine.
Yeah.
They're like pine swags everywhere.
That big room that you see when you first go in, it's like their atrium.
Yeah.
Okay, they have to take the glass off the top of that, and that's how they get the Christmas tree in. Because it's massive.
Yeah.
So I have done that, and maybe like twice. And I was not like I was there on Christmas Day or anything, but I was there like around Christmas time, and it is beautiful. And it's a really cool experience.
The Biltmore in general is really cool. I did not do the like guided tour, I don't think, but that's like, I'm obsessed with the indoor swimming pool there. There's an indoor swimming pool. This is a house that people lived in
early 1900s.
Was it that? So the fact that there was an indoor swimming pool, I don't know why it blows my mind. Bowling alley. But it does. Yeah, they have like a gym with like the most rudimentary looking equipment, but it's so cool.
I'll have you know, in 1911, that was top of the line.
Right. It was like an LA Fitness in there.
It's really beautiful there. I mean, Asheville is like a really cool town.
But the Biltmore at Christmas, to Southern Living's point probably, is like a totally different experience, which is why it's on my bucket list.
Right.
I've been in May.
Right.
But Christmas apparently looks very different.
It's cool. It really is. So you guys go to Biltmore.
Do it.
No matter where you live.
Any time of year. It's very cool.
August is hot.
Yeah. I can't help you with that.
From me to you. Okay. Just mountains in general at Christmas. That was another one on the list.
Mountains. I mean, probably. Sounds nice. Not relevant to me.
So I have done this around the holidays before, and there was a Biltmore trip in there too. It's just a way to get to the cold when the suburbs in Atlanta can sometimes be so darn warm.
We used to do for about 5 years, maybe, we did a New Year's mountain trip with some friends, and we'd rent a cabin, and over the long weekend, we would go to either the North Georgia mountains or Tennessee or North Carolina and rent a cabin. I've just never spent Christmas in the mountains, but that time of year, sure.
Are you familiar with Réveillon dinners? Okay, so this is actually derived from the French term for awakening, and Réveillon was originally observed in the 1800s as a feast for parishioners who were returning from midnight mass on Christmas Eve in the predominantly Catholic city. Did I say the city?
I'm guessing it's New Orleans.
Thank you. I'm like, wait a second.
I was going to say that sounds very...
My brain's hurting.
Creole to me.
Yes. So think like a late night brunch with a mix of breakfast food and traditional Creole dishes.
That they had beignets.
So it's not that they had, but that they have. Because here's the thing. This whole experience, this tradition died out in the 1940s, except for in really devout households. But the city brought it back in the 1990s. And now it's celebrated at like a bunch of different, I think, really well-known established restaurants there. And over the entire course of December.
Oh.
In fact, I was waiting for you to tell me you did know it because I know how much you love New Orleans.
I do love New Orleans.
And I thought you were going to be like, duh.
Of course, I've been. No.
Yeah, I host one.
Late night dinners are not for me. I'm the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock crew.
Well, I guarantee you that they're not doing these at midnight. I'm sure some places are, but if they're really trying to get that restaurant. Oh, okay. If they're really trying to get that restaurant crowd, they're doing them at like normal business hours.
8 o'clock is still too late for me. You can't help me, Selena. I'm broken.
Let's talk about personal traditions.
Okay.
So you've already been sharing a couple of different things. What's your favorite family tradition these days, or ever?
Ever is that Christmas Eve dinner at my mom's house. That's just like I just remember it. Like that's the thing. That's what Christmas was built around. Between that and waking up super early. I mean, we would wake up at 6 to see what Santa brought us until I was an embarrassing age. For a long time, my brother would sleep in my room with me. Like and when my sister was home, she would sleep there too. The three of us would sleep in the room together and like just lay there trying to fall asleep because we were just wondering like what was Santa bringing. Sure. And we would watch TBS plays A Christmas Story, or they did. I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, 24 hours or something.
They would. It would start at 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve. So we would either eat dinner and start watching it, or we would have it on while we were eating dinner. And it literally would not. It would turn off long enough for us to go to bed. We'd wake up the next morning and turn it back on. So like as a kid, those were traditions. Now I still watch A Christmas Story, just not the same way I used to, but we will watch it at some point on Christmas Day. My kids are going to be waking up super early because they're so excited about it. We have started doing where we go get a real Christmas tree, and we just did this last weekend or 2 weekends ago. On Thanksgiving weekend, we go to a farm over here near your house and we'll pick out a Christmas tree. Kyle and I never used to do a live tree. When I was growing up, we occasionally had a live tree, but usually it was a fake tree. Mm-hmm. Kyle and I had an artificial tree for a long time. And just when we had kids, found out about this farm, we started going over here to get trees. Now I love a real Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. So we have a real tree. That's a big tradition for us. I make cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. So that's another, I start on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
I'm so excited I made cinnamon rolls.
I know. Then. That's a huge Christmas tradition. So what are some of yours?
Well, I think the one that we've been the best at adhering to is just Casey and I decorating together. Mm-hmm. And so it's usually the weekend of Thanksgiving or close to it. And this year we had to move it up a little bit because we had plans. But so we just, I'm decorating inside. He's decorating outside. We're not together.
We're decorating together apart.
I'm telling you how marriage lasts, guys. I'm giving you the real deal tips. But we will like come in and make some sort of sweet treat. So it's either like cinnamon rolls or cookies a lot of the time. And we have eggnog. And, Christmas vacation is often on the list. Mm-hmm. We don't always make it to Christmas vacation, but it's the thing that we're supposed to be doing. Oh. And usually around that weekend as well. So that's a big one for us. Friend-wise, we're doing Friendsgiving for a long time. It's sort of gone to Friendsmas now. Mm. So we're usually doing something in between Thanksgiving and Christmas where we just get together and just spend time together. We actually have that coming up next weekend. And basically we just eat a lot. Mm-hmm. And many of us would drink a lot. It's Christmas. Sure. And so a few of my friends and I, and one friend in particular, Ashley, my best friend, we do a holiday sock advent calendar. And so this is my friend who lives in Ireland. So we will Marco Polo each other every day and show each other the socks that we got.
Oh, that's cool.
We might be taking a chill this year because I've got about 1,000 socks.
Oh, sure.
And it's starting to feel a little crazy, but it's been a really, really fun way, really, to just chat through the holiday season.
Does Ashley drink coffee?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you need to do the Nespresso advent calendar. You need an advent calendar that's like something you can ingest.
Well, I need that one for me.
She could do the wine advent calendar from Costco.
Oh, maybe.
They have a wine and a beer advent calendar.
Yeah.
I kept looking at that one. I
Of course,
never bought it.
I don't think they've got a Costco in Ireland.
Yeah.
It'll cost me $75,000 to get that to her. But I do like, also, just a side note, I really want to start an advent calendar business with like different kinds of advent calendars, because I feel like there's not enough kinds. And I think we could really step the advent calendar game up. Because the idea behind it is lovely. Who doesn't want a surprise treat every day?
The Nespresso one is really cool because you get a different Nespresso coffee every day for 25 days or whatever. And then at the end, you get like a cool mug.
Are you doing that one this year?
No, because I didn't see that they were for sale or, on sale, for sale, whatever the word is. And they sold out.
Oh.
So they say they're restocking. Usually Kyle gets it for me. I say usually. The last 2 years, Kyle's got it for me, and he didn't do it this year. So,
well, darn it.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's a cool idea, though.
Yeah.
Much more exciting to me than the Keurig one. I saw there was a Keurig one, too.
Oh.
Espresso is just delicious.
It's good.
The rest of mine, I'm just going to be frank with you, are pretty much food.
Oh.
So before I go down a total food hole, delicious. What other traditions do you want to share about?
I think those are the big ones.
Okay.
I think that there's plenty. We have lots of little things we do, and we have little random things that are becoming traditions. So I always bake. Like on Christmas Eve, I try almost always to take Christmas Eve off work. And before we had kids, I would use that day to bake. It's a little harder now because the kids are around. It's just hard to bake with kids. I like to involve them, but occasionally it's faster to do it yourself. But we do bake some, and we'll do like the cutout cookies. Kyle is shockingly good at decorating them. With like icing them. So I usually will bake the cookies and then let him sort of take over icing them, and he'll do that. And so like we did it 2 years ago, and then we just like gave the kids a cookie, got in the car, and we just drive around and look at Christmas lights. So that's one that we sort of just established within the last couple of years, and a couple of times throughout the month we'll just go look at Christmas lights and eat cookies. And then I discovered a Santa train. So they have like a Polar Express train that you can take. It was very expensive, and it didn't really come with that much. There's an alternative in Blue Ridge that's the Blue Ridge train, and Santa comes on the train, and you get to meet him and tell him what you want for Christmas. It doesn't include hot chocolate, but you can go buy it like on the snack train, and it's like half the price of the Polar Express one. So we did that just like on a whim a couple years ago and loved it. It was an amazing memory. And then COVID hit, and we skipped last year. So we're making our grand re-tradition this year, and that's actually 2 weekends from now.
Yeah, I think that's probably an important thing to say, is maybe that's why this was so exciting, is because a lot of traditions or just anything kind of got blown out of the water last year. So
yeah, we were able, I think, though, sort of in that interest of like reprioritizing your life and thinking about what you miss and what you don't miss when that happens. One thing that really struck us is there was a point in time where Kyle and I had 3 Christmases in the span of 2 days.
Yeah.
We would do Christmas Eve with my family, or 4, I guess, because then with my mom, then we would do Christmas morning ourselves, go to his family's house in the afternoon, and then drive. At one point, we were driving from his family's house in South Atlanta to Greenville, which is like more than 2.5 hours for Christmas with my dad's side of the family. And so we were just like all over the place. That stopped, and it was just the 3 Christmases. My mom, our personal Christmas, and then his family's house. But all of that would happen Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. Then when we had kids, like it just sort of felt unfair that we were on the road all day on Christmas. We barely got to enjoy Christmas Day. So I think COVID was a nice little reminder that we can stay home by ourselves and have our own little tradition on Christmas Day if we want. So we've started doing that more.
I think that's nice. And I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Because I've talked before about becoming a human doing.
Yeah.
And it feels like the holidays is a really easy time to fall into that pattern, and maybe at your worst.
Yeah.
Just because and we've talked, both of us have, about the issues that we have with people pleasing. And what a time.
Yeah.
What a time to exercise that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a really, for someone who is a people pleaser, it was nice to have something else get in the way of that and say like, nope, no can do. So I don't know.
What are you for me to talk about my food?
Because the way you could go on about food, I probably could go on about Christmas movies, because I have a whole list of movies that I watch every year.
Yeah. Well, more about
Well,
them.
no, all I was going to, the reason I brought that up is because you mentioned Christmas becomes like this series of boxes you're checking.
Yeah.
We were watching Elf, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies to watch.
So good.
And she says, I'm just trying to get through. And he's like, get through? Christmas is the best time of year. And that is totally what it is, where you just feel like, oh my gosh, okay, what party are we going to this weekend? Who do we have to buy a gift for? And that like slowdown that COVID forced has been kind of nice to say like, oops, hard reset. I'm not doing all the Christmas parties. I'm going to do what I can where I can, but we're not doing all the things.
Right.
So Elf, all of that to say Elf, Home Alone, Christmas Vacation for sure, Christmas Story, Santa Claus. I have such a soft spot for the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I will usually watch the first one and the second one. I'm not such a big fan of the other ones. And then this year they released a new Home Alone movie that I started watching.
That.
It's very funny.
Yeah?
It's very funny. I told Kyle that's one of those examples. I think we talked recently about how I can watch a movie and just not have high expectations. And I didn't have high expectations of that one at all. It made me laugh out loud several times.
Oh, well, that's good.
It won't be a tradition, but it's Home Alone in general is a tradition, so I'll give it a shot.
Right. Well, all the ones that you mentioned are like ones that I love.
Yeah, they're all the same.
I will tell you that Home Alone 2 is my favorite.
I think me too.
I think we've talked about this before. I don't know if it was here we talked about it, but Home Alone 2 is my favorite because he orders all that room service.
Oh.
I mean, other things too.
Sure.
But that really excited me.
But that was the big part.
The southerner in me was just like, oh, Christmas in the big city.
It's all coming back to the food part.
I love food.
So what are your Christmas food traditions? Because I want to know if I have any of them too.
So typically we get away from turkey by the time we hit Christmas, I think, or at least a couple of sides of my family. It just depends. There's so much family. But I think everybody's just kind of like over turkey from Thanksgiving. So Casey's family's really big on doing prime rib.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not paying for it, so.
I know.
Makes it easier. That'll be a nice listen for them. But it's really great. And then like his dad makes this mushroom gravy that will just knock your socks off. It's so good. It's my favorite thing. I mean, I could just eat the gravy. And I would, by the way. I'm like, just give me a bowl and a spoon and I'm happy as a clam. Sometimes like my mom's side of the family would do tenderloin, which is always, I'm a meatitarian. I shouldn't be. I try to be better, but around the holidays, I just can't help myself. But I was actually going to ask you today about the pineapple casserole.
Oh.
And then I got to eat some. So, I was also going to ask you about fruitcake. Are you a... No. Same. That face says it all. I know, terrible. My grandma loves it. So it does make me think of it. She actually likes the German Stollen. Oh. It's even worse. It's like, how can we make this worse? And then they do. So
unless you like it, in which case enjoy.
You love it.
I mean, I have to say, fruitcakes have just never been part of a holiday for me. So the idea of it sort of grosses me out. If somebody put it in front of me, I would try it. But it's just not a tradition for us.
I'm just not one for that canned fruit situation. It's just like not, or maybe it's not canned. Maybe it's just like, all right. It's like basically fruit that they were like, you know what this fruit needs is some more sugar. Oh. And then we'll soak it in syrup. And I'm like, nah.
It's just a lot.
Ugh. So then I also have like a list of must-have sweets during the season. And I thought some of these might resonate with you just because, we know each other and stuff. Right. But the Costco cookie tin.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh, man.
I bought a box the other day. I hadn't bought any because they changed my favorite cookie in the middle.
The middle cookie. I know.
The middle cookie.
And see, we didn't get a cookie tin last year, so I didn't realize they took the biscuit off the cookie, which will make no sense to anyone who is in England. Or Ireland. You took the cookie off the cookie. Or you took the biscuit off the biscuit. So that is actually technically they're European cookies, in case people aren't familiar with that.
They're like Belgian or something.
Right. And they come in the big red tin.
I mean, they're delicious, but
they're great. I love them. But I was going to say, too, that the Danish blue tin of cookies, that always puts me in the mind of this season.
I look at them. I'm the only person in my house probably that would eat them, so I never buy them, but I do love those.
Yeah. I mean, they're just like butter cookies.
They're just butter cookies,
Yeah.
shortbread maybe.
It's good. Ferrero Rocher. It's just something that I'm like, it's not Christmas unless I'm seeing them.
Sure.
And that's kind of weird because I'm not a huge hazelnut person. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I need to see them.
Sure.
And then, like, pecan pie. Always.
Yeah.
I did not have any pecan pie for Thanksgiving.
I know.
Yeah. So
I had a bevy of pecan pie. We never have it at my in-laws' house, so I bought a whole one for Thanksgiving Day at my house. Then they had pecan pie at my in-laws' house. So I had it both days. It was delicious. And
like
days after.
the good Lord intended.
Indeed. It's
Yeah.
true.
And-
What about peppermint bark?
Peppermint bark?
Yeah, did that not make your list?
So I am not, it's fine. I'm not a huge peppermint and chocolate person. I'm good with it being in the universe, and it definitely puts me in the mind of Christmas. I think Nikki's about to kick me out of my own house.
I don't understand you right now.
I'm sorry.
What about the white fudge Oreos?
Oh, wonderful.
They're so hard to find.
I was looking for some yesterday, and I couldn't find them.
Kyle laughs at me because when you start seeing them, like maybe before Thanksgiving, he'll send me a picture if he's at the store or whatever, and I'm like, pick up a couple boxes, and he'll come home with one. And I'm like, why did you only get a box? And he's like, we're not going to eat that many right now. And I was like, it's not about right now. We are building our winter stores because right now they're unavailable. You cannot find them anywhere. I've looked at Kroger, Target, Walmart, and Publix.
I guess you could make some. Sounds terrible. I know. Even as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, what are you talking about? I do want to say something, though. I do like a mint chocolate creamer situation. Not that I do that a lot because I prefer to drink my coffee black, but if I'm like giving myself like a treat, life sounds good when your treat is creamer. You know what I'm saying? But like if I'm doing something like that, that is delicious to me. Whether it's like the Christmas flavors or even like the York peppermint patty one, that one is so good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's delicious. So, food's just a big part.
Selena's tradition is to eat.
I'm hungry. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, is there anything else that we're leaving off the table or that you think we should discuss? I mean, there's a million things, right?
Sure, there's a lot. Just a good old-fashioned Merry Christmas to anybody who celebrates.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, just the season. I mean, I think I want to go back to something you said. We were talking off air about this, about like just how like you can't imagine not celebrating Christmas. Yeah. But this is like something too, like just the holiday season in general. I think it's a big tent. And it's like it really does, like you don't have to be a Christian to celebrate Christmas, you know. And you don't have to be a Christian to get cozy, to holiday up. And that's really what we wanted to talk about.
All of our traditions we talked about were about kind of friends and family cozy stuff.
I don't think either one of us said how we were on the front pew on Christmas Day. So that's not what we were talking about.
That's to me, like, Christmas is so much about the stuff that brings you together. It's just that time of year to be cozy with everybody and doing the things you love to do. Absolutely. And really enjoying each other and kind of taking stock right before the next year. Yep. 2022. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine. So, wherever you are, whatever you celebrate, we wish you the happiest of holiday seasons, a merry little Christmas, and a happy new year, even if this will likely drop next year. And that's this week's edition of Extra Sugar.